Ladies and gentlemen, the goose is loose. Why don't we try and play a bit of Last Epoch? So, I have managed to play a little bit of 1.0. There have been some challenges with the servers, as anyone who joined me on my Wednesday launch stream, which is none of you, will have found out. We had some issues. You know, the launch of Last Epoch is well documented that it has been a little bit rocky, which we were sort of predicting. You know, it's a small studio, new online game. These things tend to get hammered, and the hype was high. So on Wednesday we got on, we tried to log into the live servers, we wanted to start a new cycle character, and there were problems. People were struggling to get in, they were struggling to get between areas. We did not manage to get in. We sat here mainly and chatted, we talked nonsense, and we played a little bit offline, because to be entirely fair, the game is fully playable offline. If you launch it through Steam, you can launch it in offline mode only. Does not matter what the servers are doing, does not give you any issues. And we discovered, playing it offline, a couple of things. The main one that I banged on and on about for most of the stream was how much prettier it looks. And I'm definitely not wrong. It's a really nice update, and I've managed to get into 1.0. I didn't play on Wednesday, I did play a little bit yesterday morning, and I played a little bit more this morning. Then the servers got a bit stuttery, but they seem to be back up now. We are having long load times between areas, but we've done some levelling, and by some levelling I mean we're at level 49. So already we've got all the skills we need for this Forge Guard build we've been working on, and in half a level's time we'll be able to specialise into Ring of Shield, which is our last skill specialisation, and the build will start ticking up again. I did dive into monoliths with this build for the first time ever at level 40. So I've said this on stream before, what I typically do is I play the campaign with a new character until about 50, just before Lagon, because he's a pretty tough boss, and then I jump into the monolith and I do monolith until about level 58, 60ish, and then I go back and fight Lagon because he's a bit easier because you're over leveled and you've got some better gear. But this time I was struggling to get a couple of key scenes to load in the campaign, and I wondered whether monolith would be any better, and it was. I had no problems with the monolith. So what I think we're going to do tonight, we're going to try and push the campaign a little. I want to be grinding monoliths because I get great XP in there. So I went in at 40, I did die twice, but I did complete an echo. And in that time, I mean in one particular echo, and we've all seen how long the echoes are, they take a little bit longer at level 40, but I made 2 levels in one echo. I was going to just grind there, but what I really wanted to try and show you on stream tonight is something I've not experienced before, and that is the new Circle of Fortune faction, the solo self-found item faction. I want to see how it works, I want to play with telescopes, I want to get some prophecies and fulfill them and just mechanically see how it works. I've seen the preview videos, I understand the basics, but I wanted to learn it for myself, and I thought it'd be great if we could do that on stream. Now to do that we need to go in the Divine Era to the Majelka Upper District. Excuse me. We need to go to the Majelka Upper District, and we have not unlocked this yet because we are not this far in the campaign. So that means one big thing, and that is we need to beat Lagon before we can get through there, and we are not going to be over leveled unless we really struggle with him. We're going to have to try and hit Lagon at level appropriate if we're going to do this in any decent amount of time today. So I've logged on, I've done the zone transition I've been trying to do for a little bit this afternoon, which is into here. I need to scoot through this zone, and I need to talk to Herot and return the lance to him, and then short of one quick little quest, we are done with this chapter of the campaign and we go into the Lagon chapter, and we're going to see how far through it we get. If we hit lots of loading times, if we get kicked a lot, I found that even when the server is struggling a little bit, I can usually log in second or third attempt. If we're really struggling with a campaign and we're sitting looking at loading screens a lot, we might go and do some monolith instead, and power level ourselves a bit, get some more passive points, because our passive tree is nothing like what it was, because we were 78 when we got through as far as we got previously with this character. But we've got all our skills at level 15, and I've got a belt that gives all my physical skills plus 1 level. So Rive, Shield Rush and Forge Strike are all essentially at 16 because they've all got plus 1 level. So we're doing quite well with these in terms of getting the nodes that we need. We're basically now in Forge Strike. We just need to work on these last 4 points here to finish our melee damage and armour. And if we don't take that belt off, we'll put an extra point in here to give ourselves 75% instead of the 50 we were working with. Same with Shield Rush, we're going to put a few more points into final hit damage and possibly damage versus full health enemies. And Rive, if we do get another point here, and we keep it, once we've finished these, I might just put another one in here for a bit more damage and a bit more stun chance. We're going to play with it as we go. But first we've got to get back to Heorot, and we've got to click on the transition to Heorot's area and somehow manage to load. So we're going to see how this holds up. And if it does, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I've got an offline character. We've got Offlinian, who is our offline testbed character from the last stream for launch night, which was another Forge Guard, was the plan. We were just going to get in there, tweak our loot filters, which we did, and play around with early leveling skills. But I haven't really got Offlinian past about level 8. That really wasn't going to be going too far. So I also started a Falconer, or a Rogue at the moment, but what will become a Falconer, just for offline play. I'm not following a build guide. I know Maxroll have a good one. I know Falconers are very popular, A, because they're popular, and B, because a lot of people are racing to 100, and Rogue levels up faster than anything else. I would just like to try Falcony skills, so if I do the Falconer, and if we end up doing that, I won't be following a build guide, I won't be doing anything like that. So let's see how quickly we load into the Smouldering Grove. You'll notice I've got a couple of pets. I've got my my Golden Guppy pre-order pet, because I've owned this game a long time, and I've also got today's Twitch drop, which is the trade faction, the Merchant's Bazaar awesome little lizard with his derpy tongue hanging out and his backpack on and his 2 little flags. It's just brilliant. I love that. So that's one of the Twitch drops. The cape I'm wearing is another Twitch drop from yesterday, and the next 2 Twitch drops, that's the I think that's the Circle of Fortune cape, which I'm happy with because that's the way the way I'm going. But there's a Merchant's Guild cape, and then we get, this is technically the Merchant's Guild pet, there is also a Circle of Fortune pet. So you'll notice we are still loading into Smouldering Grove. I looked about half an hour ago, something like that, and unsurprisingly, the Friday after launch on a Wednesday, the peak concurrent user count on Steam was about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, at about 192,000. So it is very popular. What I would say is this is the most stable it's been since launch, despite the fact this is probably the busiest it's been since launch. And I'm perfectly happy to sit and put up with some load times in order to experience the game. If we get a lot of load times during the campaign, we might go run some Monolith. But I'd love to be able to push through the campaign, maybe get to Lagon tonight, maybe beat Lagon tonight if we're really feeling spicy. And if we can do that, it would be great to then push up to Majilka and get our Circle of Fortune. Now, I understand that if you've already finished the campaign on one character, you can actually select whether you want to go Trade Faction or Circle of Fortune, whether you want to go Merchant's Guild or Circle of Fortune in the starting town. But obviously we haven't done that yet, so we can't. But we're going to do it, and then we're going to play around a little bit with prophecies. And it would be nice to do it on stream. I'm not going to get a lot of time to play after today because I'm travelling for work over the weekend, and there won't be a stream on Monday because I am away for work and won't get back until quite late. So the next chance I get to pick the game up will be Tuesday, but I may not be able to stream on Tuesday, which means if we don't get Circle of Fortune on stream tonight, then we're probably going to end up playing around with Circle of Fortune offline. And maybe I'll put together a YouTube video on it or something instead, but it would be nice to do it live with you guys so you can see my genuine excitement at new content. However, we are taking a bit of time loading at the moment. It's been an experience throughout the day. So I suspect tonight's stream is going to be a little bit like the stream we had on Wednesday, which is to say there will be nobody in it, because there was a lot of interest in Last Epoch when I started streaming a few weeks ago, and there were not that many people streaming it. However, now if you want to go and watch a Last Epoch stream, there are lots of people in the thousands streaming, and if you want a more entertaining place to go and you want to go and see some endgame builds and some truly phenomenal stuff in legacy servers, then I would recommend Aaron Action RPG's channel. He is currently doing a subathon where he is streaming for a set amount of time, and that time is extending as people spend bits, gift subs, etc. And the response on that channel has been phenomenal. Some of us have been there. He's been streaming now for 48 hours and sleeping live on stream. So other than shutting the stream down to reboot a few things and deal with some login issues and stuff, the stream has been running for 48 hours, and I've watched most of it. And he's been sleeping on stream. And when he went to sleep last night, it was sort of 1 AM for him. It was about 9:30 this morning. I was watching some when I got up. There was 56 hours left on his stream from gifted subs and various things. And by the time he'd got up in the morning, it was back up to like 63, 64, and I think now he's probably around 68 again. It's like the eternal stream at the moment. So that channel is fantastic. If we pick anybody up, if we end up with 4 or 5 people by the end of this stream, my plan would be to raid him anyway, because I think pushing people over there is great, because he is one of my favourite Last Epoch content creators. I'm starting to get the feeling this isn't going to be hugely successful. And it then leads you to the question, we're completely functional here. The load is happening, but while the load is happening, we can be checking our skills, we can be looking at our inventory, we can be managing items. We're not frozen out of the game, but we are frozen in this area. So the question then becomes, do we shut the game down, go back to start menu? No, because here we are. Look at that, just as I threatened them with leaving. Oh, and we're straight in here as well. I thought we were going to then have that load screen for an equal amount of time. Oh, poor Herot. We've had a few new cutscenes in the campaign I've played so far that have made some of the campaign story beats make a lot more sense, which has been nice.
You have returned with the lance.
Yes, I have.
Now it shall bear my final blessing.
Sorry, I was pausing there because I thought he was going to voice the rest of that. Right, so for the lance to work, we must find Lagon and Majasa to the west and south. We need a drop of their blood to ignite the power. And then I get Herot's blessing, so that's one of the 3 gods. We know who the next one is. The next one is Fishface. So
what fate intends for us.
We are going to have to go fight Lagon again.
Farewell.
Bye-bye, Herot. You were the best and coldest of us. Oh, and the flowers have bloomed.
We have Herot's blessing. And now he's gone. We
Sorry,
must move
Grail.
on. There are other matters, other gods we must tend to. Our only chance to defeat Rye is if we gather their blessings. You're right. We will.
We will avenge him.
We'll travel west towards the sea. Lagon is there, the god of sea and storms.
Oh, let's go. Let's just go. I want to crush Lagon. Right, so the best thing we can do here, we'll see if this works. 2 things. We're going to portal back to town, we're going to go south, travel to Deep Harbour and do the Deep Harbour quest, and that puts us into the Lagon chapter. But before we do that, check out my new sexy portal. It summons a big squishy tree, and it makes a tree noise as well, which is my favourite thing about it. When it comes up, it makes a leafy noise. So we'll see how long it takes us to enter town, we'll see how long it takes us to get out of town into the next zone, then into Deep Harbour, and then through the Deep Harbour thing. We'll play it by ear, but I do want to give this a pretty decent shake, because it shouldn't take us too long to get to Lagon. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on load screens and stuff. I'm largely going to skip text. I want us to see the content. But then we've got to beat Lagon, and then we've got to get through the first few parts of the next act to get into Majelka, which is not a particularly long part of the quest arc, but we'll still have to do it. And if we're waiting 5 minutes on each load screen, and they, they are happening, touch wood, I'm going to tempt fate here. We have not yet seen an LE61, which is a failure to load the next area, but I'm calling it out now. I'm summoning the gods of LE61. But I think, for me, I said it on Wednesday, I think the devs' response to this has been fantastic. I think they're working their backsides off, and things are improving hour by hour, whether it's server-side fixes or whether it's patches. There was a big issue discovered after the initial peak concurrent user count hit 150k within 20 minutes of launch. That highlighted a flaw in the servers that they just hadn't anticipated. That's now been fixed and patched out. There are some other issues they're still addressing. I've been following the updates on the Discord, and they're providing such good communication with it. Timed updates all the time to let us know what's going on. So I don't think we really could have asked for much more. The only question I sometimes have is, I've clicked on my portal now and it's vanished. I haven't got the little worry icon. Do I try and portal again, or is it loading me? Like, if I hit my portal again, it doesn't open. So I think we are now in the load transition. And the problem is that at the moment, everybody's playing campaign. Well, okay, not everybody is playing campaign, but I would say the vast majority of people are playing online where they can. They're playing cycle characters because people want to be playing in the new cycle. It seems to be very popular. And they are playing through the campaign, a lot of people, because some of them haven't finished it before, or some of them want to get all their idols and all of their passive points, which, by the way, we have got. 15 out of 15 passive points, 8 out of 8 idol rewards, and in fact, if you look carefully on my inventory, I'm missing an idol. I have not put this in particularly well. But I think this is where the heaviest server loading is. I've seen people streaming on Legacy, so the old characters, not in the current cycle, with all the old economy and stuff, in Monolith, with very few issues for the last few days. It's really trying to get, particularly in the campaign where you're loading a new scene all the time, it's a little bit more challenging for the servers to keep up. But we're going to give them a bit of a go. And again, we're not racing to 100. This is like Wednesday's stream, except unlike Wednesday's stream, we're in the game. And we are able to play. We're able to play perfectly fine when we're in an area. It's just the loading between areas that's taking a bit of time at the moment. We might find, with it being the first Friday, that things start to really chug and then completely crap out when everybody in the US gets home from work and the servers get completely flooded. In which case, we'll play offline mode, we'll sit and have a chat, we'll do something else. But for now, we're going to give this a go. Well, I can't summon another portal. What I should do is I should do what I did in the last area and say, ooh, maybe I should quit out. I think it might have given up and frozen. And when I said that, I got a lovely loading screen. Who knows? Can we go in there? We can't go in there. That lizard is awesome. Look at that big derpy thing. That's brill. So just while we wait, let's have a look at a couple of the other Ultimate Edition cosmetics we got. So I've got 2 full cosmetic armor sets. I've got this Temporal Guardian armor set, which is very cool looking and probably something I will run on this character later on. But from an RP perspective, and I am a hardcore role player at heart, I don't feel my character has earned this. We're not level 50 yet, we've not finished the campaign, we're not pushing monoliths. They shouldn't be running around looking all shiny. I've seen a lot of people in this Fallen Ronin set, which does look awesome, but doesn't really suit the style of my hardcore paladin who should be in full plate. So we're probably going to put this on at some point. We've got our cape from the Twitch drops, and then we've got a few pets. We have the baby chronoworm, the guppy, the golden guppy, which is a pre-order pet. We've got a twilight fox. We have an adolescent chronoworm, and then we've got an adult one. So if we pop that on, the game will crash. So it turns out we had lost connection to the server, and when we told it to try and do something, it remembered. So let's just log back in, see where we're up to, how long it takes, and maybe we'll go push some monolith for a little bit, because it might be that tonight is a monolith job, in which case we'll start grinding out the character. There's a couple of things that I'm really missing, unsurprisingly, having gone from an old legacy economy into a full new cycle. Obviously I'm missing gold. I've got no gold, and every time I've got gold I spend it on runes of shattering so that I can get some of the shards that I'm looking for. So actually I never have gold at the moment, because I need more runes of shattering, because I need to be able to shatter gear that I find but don't want to equip that has affixes I need, because I have also no crafting items, no shards, no runes, no glyphs. And I'm getting to the point where I really am going to need to craft a few items just to push me through to the next monolith and the finish of the campaign and all the other bits. I've not done any crafting on this cycle character yet. I've had some okay drops. I haven't needed to. I think I'm pretty much all in yellow items, all in rare items, apart from I've got a legendary ring on. A unique ring on. So I haven't got that problem. The other big one that I'm really feeling, which I hadn't really thought about, is the lack of idols. So on my legacy server, I haven't been playing that long. I haven't done a lot of idol hunting, but you pick up idols over time. You find them in the monolith, you find them from shrines, they drop off bosses and out of chests. And I've saved every single idol I pick up. I've got 4 stash tabs completely full of idols, mainly for sentinels. There are some other class specific ones for other classes, but mainly it's for the sentinel. So when I'm putting my build together, when I did the Forge Guard on my legacy, I just had a look at my resists and went, oh, I've got a big hole in my poison resist. Search for poison in the tab. It will show me all the idols, it'll highlight all the idols that have either poison damage, poison resist, or some mention of poison on them. And I can skim through those, find the best ones I've got with the best supporting stats, slap them on, do the jigsaw puzzle. And when we played the Forge Guard about a week ago on Legacy, what is now Legacy, when we were playing it on 0.92, I had my resists pretty well rounded and capped. Even by this stage, certainly by level 60-ish, I wasn't worrying about resists at all. I mean, I was worrying if they were 59 rather than 74 or not. I think I've got some of them at 10 or less. And it's harder to round out because I just don't have the range of idols. So the other thing Monolith will get us is it will get us crafting materials, shards, runes, glyphs, it will get us gold, it will get us idols, and it will get us gear. And the level 50 to 58 Monolith is going to be dropping gear that at the moment we can't equip, but in about 5 levels time we can. So we should be able to find some good pieces, craft them, and up our damage. About an hour before I finished playing this morning, the build really wasn't working. My survivability was okay. I went into the monolith at level 40, the monolith was level 58, and I didn't die in my first echo. I did die in the next 2 because I was pushing it a little bit too hard, trying to pull everything and AoE stuff. I got a bit cocky, but it was pretty close. One was on the final gate that we had to close, and one was against a boss who was doing some serious AoE. So the survivability wasn't terrible given I was 18 levels under, but the damage wasn't there. We've since stepped our DPS up massively. DPS has gone up by maybe 40 or 50%, if not more, with a couple of item tweaks. So I wouldn't say that I'm wearing a single piece of gear that I'm particularly happy with. They're just what has dropped for me so far. You know, I've had no uniques drop for me really for this class. I've got one unique ring on, which is really a rogue ring, but it has got some haste buffing and some other stuff which is working for me. The one thing I have got on this build at the moment is move speed. Right, we're going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to very quickly take us to this screen, then I'm going to shut everything down, then we're going to start again. Because Last Epoch is now, unfortunately, not responding. I suspect we have an absolute spike in people online. Let's just have a quick look. So, Last Epoch peaked today at 193,820 people, and currently in game we've got 132,000. Sorry, no, I'm looking at the wrong line there. That's Grand Theft Auto 5. There are more people playing Last Epoch by a large margin. We have 186,000 in game now, with the most ever recorded online about an hour ago at 194,000. So it is very, very popular right now, and we can forgive them a little bit trying to get the server architecture up and running under the slightly unusual demand pressure. I think it's sort of the dream situation for the devs. You know, the previous peak count when it was in early access was, I think, 40,500, so just over 40,000 people. And today we hit nearly 5 times that, all online at once. And right now we're 35,000 over the big concurrent user count at launch. And the servers are holding up better. We are able to log in, we are able to do stuff. They're just struggling a bit with this scene transition issue. So let's get back in. We are going to try and do some Monolith, because I think we could mess around quite a lot trying to get to not very far in the campaign. I'd probably be better off logging in at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for 2 hours when there's only really early morning EU people around. Everyone else is going to bed. And the servers tend to be at their most stable. It was pretty good for me this morning and yesterday morning. And at that point we can just knock out the campaign, particularly if we've already over-leveled by doing a load of Monolith and over-geared. That would all be good. Now, we may have completely lost online altogether. Let's just find out. But at the moment we're still on this screen. So we will see. Let me just have a look. No, you see, we're in. We're in. Okay, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference, but I'm going to manually run into the Monolith rather than taking a portal. Look at that dragon in the background. Big space dragon. See, the Monolith loaded really quickly, so maybe we'll just run some echoes tonight. And then at least we're playing stuff, and we're not that anyone is going to see this stream on Twitch, but if they are, I'm not sitting there staring at a loading screen going... Plus, I'm actually keen to see how well this build is coming together, because the gear on it is still very poor. I want some better gear, but I also want to sort of push this 58 Monolith and see how well we can do. Come on, Monolith, you can do it. At 49 we should be able to get to 50 in one echo, which means we can then specialise in Ring of Shields, and I think we'll start at about level 5 or level 6 specialisation in it. We'll double check in a minute. So we'll immediately be able to dump 6 points into it. So off the top of my head, 2 points into the plus health plus physical res for the shields, 2 points into the plus duration so that it lasts pretty much as long as the cooldown, so that we can almost always have shields up. Then we'll put a couple of points into reduced mana cost, because we're still balancing mana a little bit. One of the things I've not done this time, I haven't gone as hard on mana reduction for Shield Rush, because I think we overdid it last time. I think we weren't hitting any mana issues at all, and I think we could have used that point for more damage somewhere. Right, so this is the one I've died on a couple of times. And I want to go over here because I want to be able to hit some rare relics and some idols. So we're going to go back to it. We're going to get no rewards for it. It would have been a sword, which is a bit of a shame, because there's some nice swords out there I quite fancy. That new animation that dissolves you in and out of echoes is really pretty cool. So right, we need to look for and slay the Crystal Lotus. What we need to do more than anything is not get cocky, because we are still quite squishy in these echoes at the moment, and our damage is not what it was. Also, I've been playing campaign over leveled for about an hour, 40 minutes before I got on tonight, so I'm used to just blitzing everything, which is not the situation we find ourselves in now. See, our Manifest Armour is really not good enough yet. It's dying so quickly compared to what it was doing at level 70, because once we've got all the points in it, it gets far more bonuses from our gear, and I haven't got all those points in there giving it the bonuses from our gear yet, so it just doesn't survive anywhere near as long. I'm also considering, and I know this was the whole reason I went for this particular set of skills and this particular build, I'm not sure that I am going to spec into the Shield Rush, the Ring of Shields node that gives me a spread of shields on Shield Rush, because I don't think it gives me, for the 5 points or whatever it is that we spend, I don't actually think it gives me enough payback. And we could better spend that somewhere else, like damage or health of shields, or even exploding shrapnel. We could have the shields heal us on death, we could do all sorts of stuff. So Ring of Shields was the last node we specialised in before we finished. There you go, there's 50. And we weren't quite sure on it, and it was the one, if anyone watched those streams, that I went back and forth on. We tried it with 8 shields, we tried it with 5, we tried it setting fire to things and doing damage, we tried it pure healing, and I still haven't quite got that bit of the equation down, so we're going to sort of play around with that based on what we see. But the first thing I want is shields that last longer and have more health, because at the moment, if I put the shields up, they just die and pop almost straight away. The other thing is we need the healing from the shields, because at the moment the shields take damage for me. You know, they're basically taunting and taking the hits, but that doesn't protect me at all from things like area damage. However, what we are doing really well is scaling swords. We haven't got all of our nodes yet in the swords, but look at that, we've got 10 swords going on, 9 swords. Right, we need to be finding this thing and killing it. You'll notice I am not speed running these monoliths at all, these echoes. And there's 2 reasons for that, one of which is cockiness will get me killed, not as much as it would have done at level 40, but it will still get me killed. And the other is, chill stream will just do what we do. Right, here we go, Crystal Dude. Oh god, the lag. Come on, you can do it. I might already be dead. I've got hella lag. There we go, that's better. None of my buttons were responding there for a second. And they're still not. No, oh god, there's no way we can do this, surely. Like, I don't even know if I'm already dead. My inputs just aren't coming through, and the problem is my healing is based on attacks, and if my attacks aren't going off, I'm not healing. I've tried 3 times to resummon my Manifest Armour. It hasn't worked. Yikes. This is the first bit of lag we've had within this monolith, and now it seems to have settled down, so here we go. And we've done it. So there you go, Echo conquered. So you can definitely do them at 49.50. And there's no rewards for this because it was the one we'd failed before, but the big reward is we can now specialise in Ring of Shields. 7 unspent points. So, 2 in banding, 2 in enduring defence. We've got 3, so we could ignore the mana cost for now, especially if we're not coming down here. We could see how the mana cost goes at 30. 30's not bad. We've got about 120 mana. So 2 extra shields, shields heal me. And then we're going to go straight for when the shields heal you, you get 50% more armour. Now, if we're not taking 1, 2, 3 nodes down here, possibly even if we're not taking this one at all, which would be 5 nodes that we had before, we could do a max here, which is you get 50% block effectiveness for 4 seconds after healing. I don't think that's all that great. Or we could go 1 more in here, or actually we could go 4 and 1 so that we get shield shrapnel on death. Mind you, we'd have to come from here, wouldn't we? Or here. And we could put more in. All sorts of ways to do this. So, shields will level pretty quickly, so we can have a look at that in a minute. Right. Runes, relics, idol shards. Idols and shards I think we need first. And we're in. Oh, look at that, we got our 5 shields back already. Now it starts to feel like my build. Oh god, we've got a purple Ebertusk there. Anyone that remembers the playthrough that we did on the early access, we got a purple Ebertusk with something pretty sexy on it, and we crafted it, and that was the weapon we held on to for a good 3 or 4 days. I sort of think I've out-leveled that a little bit, and the spiked urchiny things at 55 might be better, but it all depends on what it's rolled with. I'm also looking forward to a few more points in Rive so that we can double our leech on Rive's final hit and therefore get a bit more survivability. Because at the moment the Manifest Armour is just not sticking around enough, so we need to be able to... what are we actually doing? Ah, sealing the storm gate, which is up there. Right, we've got a set item here. 2-handed staff. Never seen one of those before, so that's nice. Okay, I maybe shouldn't have summoned that until we cleared a little bit of crap, but let's just see what we can do. Let's all hit him, please. Ooh, we've got some of the new enemies here. These little flying guys can be quite annoying. They summon armies of people, although actually they're really useful for summoning our swords, because they summon a whole horde of zombies or something that we can then use to proc swords. I'm not particularly trying to work on bonus stability or anything here, I'm just, while stuff is being killed by stuff, I'm happy to take the XP because we're nearly at 51 after that. I mean, that's what running early echoes is like. There we go, 51. And a ton of those. Go back through the tree, grab ourselves some idols. And we can start doing what we do best. And just getting ourselves set up. Now, what have we got here? Increased void damage, don't care. Damage with vengeance, damage with smite. Not using either of those. we have got this urchin star, which we can now use. I've got one in my inventory as well that I've been saving. That isn't too bad. I think the roll ranges on those minion affixes, the intrinsic ones, are 5 to 35. Yes, they are. So 2 25s and an 8. Not ideal, but don't want the throwing damage. Attunement's nice. Health regen, cold res. Okay. Ooh, but I've got some more big idols for the Sentinel. Void Essence on kill. 44% increased physical damage. Yeah, I'm not using shield throw. That's a necro one. So, you'll notice a few things. One, I've got 10,000 gold rather than 620,000. I've got less than 500 shards instead of more than 6,000. I've got 45 of these instead of about 400, and I've got about 39 of these instead of about 400 or 500. So we're lacking crafting items. We're definitely lacking idols. These are our limited stash of idols. On the legacy server, we've pretty much got one full tab of these shape, one of these shape, one of the one slots, a few for the slightly bigger ones. So we're lacking in choice somewhat. And also really in cash. If I was to buy another tab, 10 grand, right, we'll take another tab, because in terms of sorting things out and getting things straight in my head, yep, those are the right colours. I want the non-sentinel idols to be in a completely different tab, because otherwise I get slightly confused looking through stuff. And we can move these things around later, but it does mean that one, and that one we don't want in there. But these are all sentinel idols that we can search in a minute for stuff. Right, this is the one we had really good last time. Now the good roll on it this time, the Exalted Affix, is a tier 6 melee and melee on health on melee hit, learn to read. And it's a really low roll as well, so none of that excites me. +5 lightning damage isn't bad. I mean, for the attack rate, that's definitely going to do more damage, because it's doing 57 as opposed to 51. So we'd get more DPS out of it, but would we get more DPS than this, which is a 55 base with physical pen, but 32% increased physical damage? Whereas that is... So at the moment, 1355 DPS on Rive. If we put that on 1471, if we put that on 1657, see that... I was putting a different weapon on. I didn't even notice that one, which has +8 melee physical and 35% increased melee damage. So it's got a high roll tier 4 melee damage and a decent roll tier 2 plus melee physical damage. It's got 15 forging potential. So if we could get attack speed on here, we could try forging this, but I don't I don't think I've got an awful lot. Attack speed's going to be a prefix, isn't it? What suffixes can we get? Health on kill, health on hit, chance to poison, chance to slow, chance to apply frailty. It's already got... I mind you, it doesn't have any base stun chance. See, at most, we've got 4 to 5 of these shards, so like we can't really even add anything to this particularly. What have we got here? We've got 2 melee physical damage shards. But also, we don't want to be too precious about not using them, because if it gives us the damage we need to mow these things down quicker, we'll get through this quicker. But this is a big buff. If we put this on, so what are we on? We were on 1657, was it? Yeah. With this, 1301. Yeah, it's just not a comparison. I don't really care about any of those affixes, but we'll keep that maybe for some crafting later. Probably not, actually. That's just flat out better. This has got endurance threshold. I need to keep moving this chat window around. which we don't even really need up because there is nobody here to chat with me. Come and chat with me. Endurance threshold would be nice. So endurance threshold is the hit point level at which you trigger endurance, where you take X% less damage up to a cap of 60, and our endurance is just nowhere at the moment. Block effectiveness would be even better. Now this has 42% increased physical damage instead of 23, and more importantly 22% armour. So we'd lose 9% block chance, we'd lose a whole load of cold res and elemental res, but we would gain block effectiveness, endurance threshold, physical damage and armour. So if we put that on, we're at 1746 now. It just keeps going up. That's the one we had before. We'll keep that just in case I've bollocksed up the build. That is a lightning damage staff. That's okay, but with shitty all-round affixes. Otherwise, don't really care. Neither of those did anything for us. Melee, physical, health on kill, crit strike, multiplier are all really good. So we'll shatter that bad boy. Physical damage, crit strike, chance to shock, health on kill. I've got 22 runes. Let's try and get a physical damage. No, shame. Right, what are these? These are level 54. I think these are new. And they're armour, mana and mana regen. Very nice. Not the same amount of armour as what I've got. Not a lot of good stuff. That can all just get sold. 21 necrotic resist. Health on melee hit. If that was on a high attack speed weapon, I might be tempted to keep. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. We've got it. We've got exalteds knocking around. We've got stash tabs for them. 19% physical damage, damage reflected, minion chill, bonus armor and reduced damage from crit strike chance. I don't want to put that on, but I do want to get. Yes, we got a shard for that. Minion health, physical res, armor. Why not? Right. So.
Yes.
And I didn't mean to sell that, so we'll go to buyback. And what? What happened there? I went to buy it back and it didn't let me buy it. Ah, right, I see. Yeah, it must have gone over there. I didn't think we were that low on cash. Mind you, we just bought a stash tab, didn't we? Oh well. We'll figure it out. We'll get more money. That can go there. That can go there. Let's run a few more echoes. Echo. Call up our manifest armor again. I would honestly expect him to be surviving a little bit better than he is, because he's level 15, so he's not particularly capped, but I was running him at probably level 14 in this monolith before. Now I'm a little bit underleveled and his hit points scale with my level and my gear, so there is that issue. Hit that, hit. Let's go for the armour stacking, because I like the armour stacking. And then we've got a passive point, which is going in crit strike multiplier for another 2. Oh, we've got 2 of them in fact, because we leveled twice. So, very nice. So our crit strike multiplier is plus 40%, and as we remember when we use Rive, that third AoE attack is a guaranteed critical, so it's just going to do 40% more crit damage. So our crit strike multiplier now is 200%. So we will do 3 times damage if we crit, and we're always going to crit with that Rive. It's just flat out bonus. Right, we want shards. We don't really want staves then. We also want runes, so I think maybe we go runes and XP for now, and we might come back for those shards. Still can't get over that little fade-in animation. Perfect. I mean, right now that's a bit better. It doesn't particularly feel like a massive amount more damage. And we're still quite squishy. We need to remind ourselves that we're not really level appropriate yet. I mean, this shouldn't be particularly difficult at level 50. It's the kind of thing that we should be able to do, but we absolutely need to be paying attention to it. We can't just drift through some of them like we could do in the higher level monoliths last time, and we cannot keep that manifest armor alive for some reason. Slay enemies to find Admiral Harton. So we're either going to find Admiral Harton or we're going to get an ambush at some point. Ooh, that didn't go very well. So monoliths do seem to be the sort of most stable way to be playing at the moment, and not that we've got anybody watching, but if you needed a reminder, if for some reason you're watching the VOD and really enjoying it, I am playing online. I am on the online servers. I'm on EU West, I believe. EU West, 31 millisecond ping, and I'm playing in Monolith, and in Monolith, touch wood, everything seems pretty stable. Ooh, what's that? That's Admiral Harton. Well, we found him, which is good news. What we don't want is to die to him.
Get off my ship!
Get off my land! Eat this, Admiral! We're certainly not killing him the way we were a little bit later on in our build when we had everything maxed. But we're not struggling too badly either. Let's not stand in the goo though. There we go. So what were we getting here? We were getting runes, weren't we? Ah, we are still getting one or two pieces where the text doesn't load. We were getting that in the early access. I wondered if that would be patched out by now. There's obviously just some exception somewhere, or it just doesn't load a certain string. Right, we need all these runes because we have none of them. So that's all good. Loads of crafting items. We got a scimitar. Those boots aren't bad. The cooldown recovery and the movement speed are both good. The boots I've got 12% increased armour. Chance to bleed if wielding an axe. Vengeance. Very nice. Right. So at the moment, let's just do the quick test. We're on 2133 armour. We were about 4,000 at level 78. But, you know, we haven't got half the base items. If we throw our shields up, when they heal us, that will creep up a tiny bit. Only a tiny bit, because we've only got 1 point in it so far. But I can see that we've already got points to spend in shield. Yeah, goes to 2212. Good for us. Well, we can change that immediately by putting another point in there. So now, that should go up by 60% when we get hit from 2292, yeah, which has given us an extra percent. Okay, fair enough. Right, let's grab some XP. Speaking of XP, this is definitely the way to get it. Right, don't stand in the Poison Gorgon Whirlwind Twisters. We learned this from Stream before, because my god do those things smack. And my poison res is horrific at the moment. Poison res is 4%. So we really, really need to watch those Gorgons. And in fact, I need to be careful I don't stack up a whole load of Gorgons, because those will kill me like nobody's business. Would also help if I hadn't lost my Manifest Armour again. The Manifest Armour is spec'd to do quite a bit of damage, so I need to be really careful it doesn't go down for too long, because it is actually quite a decent source of DPS now. I'm going to die, yeah. Tell me we ran out of pots? Yes we did, we had no pots, from what I can see there. Maybe we had, no, we might have had one left. Oof. So poison res is a big glaring hole for us. Right, we're going to leave this at 3, and for the next couple of levels we're going to put the points in here so that we're healing 40 per shield, which is 200 every 6 seconds. Which, given that we've only got 771 health at the moment, which we will increase, that is quite impressive. Now, couple of things. There's an arena key down here. We've not done any arena in the cycle. I've not even unlocked the arena. I need to go down there. That would be nice. I also really want more shards, and I don't want to do that again because we lost it, so let's go this way. I mean, it would be different enemies this time. It would be a totally different setup, but I wouldn't get a reward for it, so I might as well be pushing one where I can get a reward. Right, undead enemies have 20% increased damage and health. High health enemies take less damage. Well, all we need to do is make sure they don't have high health for very long. So what are we doing? We are slaying enemies until Inquisitor Captain Devourer turns up and then killing them. Hello darkness, my old friend. Everything seems to be poison at the moment. I really need to round that out. But the only way I'm going to be able to do that, I can't really craft poison on my gear at the moment because I don't have enough shards. So I'm going to have to get lucky and find poison, or I'm going to have to get even luckier and find poison res idols. Now, we didn't evaluate those idols from earlier yet, so we will quickly, when we get back to town, just double check that we haven't got any idols that we've just pulled that have significant poison res on them. Must remind self, can't run downstairs like that. Whoa, yeah, that poison just eats me. Right, so up here somewhere is our dude. Right, just keep hitting. I could heal, but instead of healing through it with potions, I'm going to heal through it the old-fashioned way. Okay, here we go. Right, don't die. Ah shit, my guy's dead, I'm dead. There we go. Eat this. Nice. We're doing pretty well, we're doing pretty well. We've got poisoned. Nice, load of shards. And a load of shards. Did we get any decent gear there? One idol we don't want. What are these? That's a level 53, 280 with increased crit strike chance, which I'm not bothered about. I do like these. Cooldown recovery and +2 to all attributes. What do we get? Minion health, like. Fire damage, there's a little bit of fire damage on my swords, but I don't even know if that applies to my minion swords. I don't think it does, I think it has to be minion fire damage. I'm not doing direct fire damage with anything, so that's not great. Yeah, okay. Worry about that in a little bit, but we can cap that. No, it's not capped, but we've got to the next stage. Put another point in heal in the shields. Go for rare amulet, might not be too bad, and then we get glyphs. I'm not too bothered about the routes I'm taking at the moment because I'm not looking to increase corruption in here. Now that's useful. Oh, idle it up. Give me all the idols in the game. There's something I really like about a fresh economy where I can essentially start again and get a feeling for going from having no idols to having all the choices of idols. Why did it have to be poison gorgons, in the word of Indiana Jones? Oh my god. Grab that health pot. See, one at a time I can pretty much cope with. We need to find the Vile Gate. Right, famous last words. Here's one now. Ooh, that was a lot of skill ups. Happy times. So everything went up pretty much. So Rive... We're making quite a lot of forged weapons at the moment. I'm going to put that other point in there later. I want Rive doing more damage. And then the question is with shields, do we go for the final hit damage, so the bit where it explodes, or damage against full health enemies? We get more damage against full health enemies, but not all our enemies are going to be full health. So I think we'll take a couple of points in there. There's also you take less damage while using Shield Rush. And that makes the final strike hit twice. And then you can rush back. I definitely don't want that. These are all capped now. That's all capped, so we're definitely speccing into this. I'm definitely we've got one in each of these. This thing's dying too quickly, so we're going to give it another 15% health. I was going to take that as my very last node, but it's just dying too quickly, so let's give it some more survivability now. Because while it's dead, I have to be able to, I have to find the mana and spend the time to resummon it, which is fiddly, and I have to notice it's died in the first place, which I don't always do. So, poison gorgons, man. As soon as I talk, they throw a twister, and I don't even see the twister. We're losing everything along the way. This was supposed to be so easy. On the plus side, we are leveling. Take another one of those. Another one of those. Another one of those. Excellent shards. We'll definitely take shards. See, once we're stably farming monoliths, and we need survivability. We need our resists balanced better before we can really just switch off and monolith farm. And then we can just be chunking up levels, chunking up gear, worrying about other stuff. But I would like to get the Circle of Fortune. I would like to finish the campaign and get my attribute points. And more importantly, I want to see all the new cutscenes, which, weren't in the game when I've been playing it thus far. So there's a lot of stuff I would like to do. But after that, we're going to sit into a comfortable monolith farm for a little while, and maybe arena farm as well. I've enjoyed arena. Oh, that's a big dude. It was a big dude. See, I don't think our damage is bad at all. I think we're good for DPS. I think we're just having to be a little bit careful with survivability. Which in theory means don't pull everything on the map all at once, but they were all crappy little mobs. See, even without the Spymaster Zerek, even without the node that gives us a great big wall of shields either side, we're doing pretty well with... Hang on, I've got to concentrate now because I forget Spymaster Zerek is a poison dude who drops poison blobs, and I am getting absolutely hammered. I'm pressing the wrong buttons left, right and centre. Get out! Oh, that should have triggered an ability that it didn't. How many pots have we got? 2, we're okay. Where is my friggin' dude? Get out of the poison. Man, I'm actually having to play the game now, this is tough. I can take your physical hits on my shields, that's fine. It's the poison puddles I can't stand. Right, there we go. Let's pick up some... Oh, we've actually capped on health pots again. Nice. And we've levelled again in all of that, without really paying attention. See, we're going to be level appropriate in no time. Offhand Catalyst, is that one I've seen before? Oh, it's the Stygian Coal, that's a new one. That's a 1.0 Catalyst. I don't know how rare that is. I have seen some listed on the marketplace. So, no legendary potential. Moderate int roll, moderate necrotic damage roll, moderate ward per second while channeling, crap chance to ignite. Oh god, that's very badly rolled. Yeah, that's not a good set of rolls, but we have got a ton of idols now, so I think it might be time to just tweak our idol slots a little bit. We're running monoliths. Monoliths are running fine. This is the part of online that is running brilliantly. I want to be pushing the campaign right now because I want to be getting past Lagon, and I want to see what Circle of Fortune is like, but the load times are a little bit chunky. We will try them again in a few minutes. What? Okay. My buttons are just going mad, that's all, ignore that. Right, for now, let's just ditch all of our idols, and then we're going to review them all in a minute. What we really need is poison res, because our poison res is, well, we do not have poison res, and it is killing us in these echoes, literally in some cases. Right, these guardian shields are usually pretty good, because they come with plus physical damage. Oh god, no. Okay. Ignore all my random button presses and the throwing of my stuff on the ground. I don't know why I'm talking to you over on my second screen again. Ignore all that. I moved my Twitch chat window and it desyncs all my buttons. Right, so we were looking at this. So it comes with increased melee physical damage, which works for us. But actually, we've got increased physical damage. I mean, all of my physical damage is melee physical at the moment anyway, because it's Forge Strike and Rive. But that's got minion health, health on block I don't care about, but necrotic resist is quite useful. 18% armour again though is really nice. Why are we wearing that? We pressed a load of stuff, didn't we? That was the one we had on a minute ago. Right, thank you. I wondered what we were comparing that to, because that's nonsense. I don't want that on. Right. So that, yeah, this one's got 42% increased physical damage, flat out all physical. So actually, we'd lose 4% armour compared to what we've already got. We would gain 14% poison res though, which is our big gaping hole at the moment, and our block chance and block effectiveness would go up. We'd lose 58 endurance threshold and 4% armour. And what are we on? 2088, 2095. So actually we'd be doing more damage. We wouldn't lose a huge amount of armour, but we would gain. Our block chance goes up by 8%, and our block effectiveness goes up. So we'll try that for now. I don't mind that. We'll keep it for a little bit. 280 with crit strike chance instead of lightning res. Lightning res is not too high at the moment. And the piece I've got on at the moment is plus 9 strength, which is armour and damage in itself, and 7% health as well, rather than 6%. Yeah, I don't think we can really justify that. What we can justify doing is shattering that. I'm not sure these scimitars... The place where these scimitars really work for us, if we look at them, they're 36 melee damage base compared to the 55. But the attack rate on them is really, really fast. And I do think that a really high attack speed version of this build would work amazingly, because we gain health and mana every time we use Rive. So the faster we are able to attack with Rive, the more sustain we've got. So if we can have a faster attack weapon that is keeping up in terms of DPS, it would really work. So if we were going to do that, we've got 3 scimitars. So that is relatively garbage. That's got the new stat on it, which is parry chance. So parry chance, that is a god roll tier 5 parry chance, and parry chance parrying a hit reduces the hit damage taken to 0, but it doesn't prevent other effects of the hit. So it counts as a successful hit, but you take literally 0 damage. So with that weapon, there is a 6% chance on every single hit that we just don't take any damage. Parry chance is capped at 75%. The only thing I've not been able to find is where on earth on my character sheet that is. A few things have moved around, and it looks prettier, and it's laid out slightly better, but you would have thought it would be around here with dodge, block chance, etc. But it's not there, and I don't think it's in defense either. No, I can't see anywhere that lists parry chance, unless parry is just a stat you can only get on one-handed swords, and therefore you can never get it more than either a 6% or maybe a 7 or 8% if you've got a tier 6, tier 7 affix. This one, damage over time actually does matter for this build if we spec into the Bleed Ignite version of it, which I'm keen to try. But this is brilliant. Plus 9 melee physical damage, plus 9% attack speed, and the chance to apply frailty. So it's only a tier 2 and a tier 1 attack speed. We get minion melee damage as well. That, at level 54, which is our next level, could be a game changer for us. And with it's only got 18 forging potential, but we could turn it into something. We may have already found a better version. That's plus 9 melee physical damage. This is plus 19. That is a high tier 4 melee physical damage bonus. So that essentially puts the base damage of this weapon at 55. The same as the one-handed mace we're using, but it attacks 1.24 times a second, not 0.98. So it attacks way quicker. It does the same damage, and it's rolled with crit strike multiplier, which is exactly what we want for Rive. Now it's got 2 prefixes, so we can't get attack speed on it, but I don't think we're going to need attack speed on it. I've never played with a 1.24 attack speed base. We'll keep those 2, but I think this one here, which also has 26 forging potential, we could really turn that into something amazing. Right, I'm not going to spend all night looking at gear and so on, but these are new weapons. I've certainly not seen these before. It might be that I had them filtered off, but I think those are new base items, and I really like that. That is a faster base attack rate than I've ever seen for weapons that I would use for this build. So this is our objective for tonight now, is make one more level, put on this Scimitar of Stone, which I think is going to absolutely skyrocket our damage, and then on top of that we want to craft it. We could definitely craft crit strike multiplier, I think, but we can absolutely play with the suffixes. I wonder what suffixes we can get on that sword. We'll have a look. Can we chuck it in the forge? Right. So if I was to go here and look at the available suffixes, we've got chance to bleed, blind, chill, ignite, poison, health on kill, health on hit, chance to shred armor, which I like a lot, although I think we've only got 1 shard for that. This is the downside of doing seasonal. I want to craft the heck out of that and I can't do it. So we need to grind for. So I would do that, and I would probably try and re-roll that into either bleed or ignite. We've got a few glyphs of chaos that we could re-roll it with. We're keeping that. Right, let's have a quick comparison then. So that is less movement speed, less armor, even less movement speed. Oh, except it's got a plus 14 actually. So it is faster. It's got more movement speed. It's got cooldown recovery and more health plus vitality. But we would lose 12% armor, which is quite a bit. Still a pretty viable piece, but we'd lose a lot of armor because we'd lose like 28 armor plus, or sorry, 18 armor plus 12%. So I'm not bothered, but I do want to shatter that because I think that will give us some mighty fine runes. That one I don't care about. I don't know enough about parry chance. Throwing attack, crit strike. See, it's a 125 headpiece, armor-wise, with crit strike multiplier. What's the roll range on that? 10 to 25. So the Myrmidon helm, I definitely want, and it comes with health, vitality, health regen per second, but then throwing attack. We'd be losing 7 strength. Definitely not doing it at the moment, but we want that. Crit strike multiplier, I do want, but I'm not gambling a rune for it. Now this is better. So on a roll range of 5 to 35%, we've got 26% minion damage, 16% health, and 32 out of 35% minion crit strike multiplier. And then it comes with bonus 51% minion health. Fire damage, lightning resist is okay, stun avoidance is good, and we're rolling pretty good stun avoidance already. That is one to potentially craft later with 27 forging potential. That is essentially a worse version of this, except it's not, 'cause it's got endurance threshold and massive poison res. I'm not crafting them now, but actually what's on this? 25% increased physical damage. If we take that off, we're not doing quite as much, but if we put that on, we're back up to 2000, and more importantly, we've plugged a huge hole in our poison res. We have lost a chunk of cold res, 6% of it, but that's okay. I'm not getting rid of any of these yet. I really read that as full helm of fornication. Right, I'm definitely not using that, but it's got some fantastic shards. Take one of those. Yep. Oh, 2 of those is good, and 1 of those is good. That can just go. That can just go. That can just go. Right. We got there.
Yes.
Yes. And then at the moment, and this is why I make the mistake every time, at the moment we've got all the space in the world in our stash, so I'll throw a load of stuff in and we'll see what happens later on. And later on I'll go, why did I keep all this shite? What on earth did I want with it? Those 2 I want down there, because that one, that I think is going to be, if we can even remotely craft a good affix on that. Yeah, with that, that's going to be an absolute finisher for us. Okay. So we've upped our damage there, we've upped our defensibility there, we've done a number of good things. I want minion health and minion armour per point. These 3 points in here give me 150% more minion health and armour, which is why my manifest armour is dying so much. It's also doing almost no damage because I had that capped at 10 out of 10 on the last build. So we've got a long way to go and we've got a bit of work to do. I'm going to run another couple. I want to get to 54 and play with that sword, because that sword is ace. When we've got to 54 and we've done a bit of playing with that sword, we might go back and just see if we can load into a bit of quest line and push a bit of quest line, but we'll see. Right, what are we doing? Oh, 15 waves of enemies, you say. Right, I'll take 100% crit strike chance shrine, because then I can just... Whoa, baby! Where's the shrine? Where's the... Oh, there it is. I was hoping for the XP shrine, but that's fine. Okay, so the crit strike chance is really useful, but you have to actually hit mobs for it to be good. Right, this Rive now is absolute garbage, and will remain absolute garbage until we get our new sword on, at which point I think we are going to slap face. And if we had proper crafting materials, we could turn it into something really good. Although, I don't think we are high enough level to be able to craft it much beyond where it is now anyway. Right, this is like a poor man's arena. Don't tread in the circles of death. Hello, you little baby Spymaster Zerek. In we go, in we go. Hey, nope.
Stand down.
Stand down. I'm doing noticeably more damage, even before. Like we upped our damage with that shield and a few other tweaks there. Then we lost a load of that damage by changing some of our defences. And then we started dreaming about better damage with that sword, but already we're good. I think we're about 2k DPS. I don't want to put a number on it because I'll be proven wrong, but I reckon we could go over 3k DPS with that sword without, maybe even without crafting on it. I don't think I can overemphasize how good that weapon that we just dropped is. Ah, and we're so close. Oh, but it was an XP. Come on. Oh, not quite. Right, let's Run another one. Oh, well, we get a choice of arena key or arena key, followed by spears, which we don't want, or more arena keys and runes. Let's do this one. Into the festering sewers. Oh right, we spawned right by the gate already. That's amazing. So we can crush this in seconds. Oh, except we haven't got a manifest armor up. You really notice the lack of him in terms of damage, which is nice, because I was a bit worried that I hadn't spec'd him for enough damage. Right, level 54, in and of itself, not a big deal, although it does give increased health and armour to our minions again, when we can actually spec. But what it does do is it lets us equip that sword. This is where I'm proven totally wrong, and that sword turns out to be complete and utter hot garbage. But I am pretty confident. Ooh, what's that got? Melee damage if wielding a mace, okay. Right, let's go play with the new toys. Arena key, first one we've had on cycle. Go and put that in my pre-prepared key stash. Right, I don't care about anything else, I care about this. Now I'm going to compare the two, because I think this one could be okay. So we're doing 2001, a space odyssey of damage. That sword, not so great. This sword, 2110. So actually, not much more. I suppose because this has a 35% increased melee damage and a +8 melee physical damage affix on it. But this still does more. And more importantly, this does more at an attack rate of 1.24. So we're going to be healing quicker, gaining mana quicker, and it's got a mega crit strike multiplier on it, which means that we're going to be absolutely crushing stuff. So let's have a look at it again. Stun chance with melee attacks. 16 of those. How many shards have we got for that? I don't care about... We got 1 shard for stun chance. I'm not as bothered about stun chance. We're not stacking a lot of it at the moment. It isn't the way this build is going particularly. Stun chance, yeah, 0% increased stun chance, so we don't really care, do we? So if we were to say, put in, get rid of that, put in a glyph of chaos. So this is, at the moment, we've got 16 glyphs of chaos, and what a glyph of chaos does is we're going to upgrade this using its current shards. So we'll spend that 1 shard to upgrade this, but it will roll it into a completely different random affix. Now that's something we can do. Arguably, we might as well leave that there and just look at putting another one on for now, because we can still upgrade and re-roll that later. So we don't want to do that, we want to go here. Suffixes. No, I don't want a chance to chill. Right, so we've got chance to bleed, chance to blind, chance to chill, chance to ignite. Chance to ignite and chance to bleed are both part of our build. We've got more ignite shards, and I have a number of sources of plus fire damage from this, potentially from this tree. So ignite could work really well for us, as could shred armor on hit. So if we're fighting a boss, we're hitting the boss a lot, we're shredding his armor, he's taking more damage. And then ignite will do burn damage over time. Let's try that, let's just see what happens. Oh god, we lost 9 forging potential. How many glyphs? Oh, we got 29, we're okay. Let's go again. We're going to brick this thing if we're not careful. Let's go crit strike multiplier. Wow, that's it. Done. That's all of its potential. But we are 32% crit strike multiplier now. So we are 2224 as opposed to 2001. So that's good. Right, which means we like that, but we want clear that, go there, put that on, shatter that, because that was half decent, shatter that, because that's half decent. Do like move speed and vitality, we'll risk those, we got both. Attunement, strength are definitely good. I sort of want to see this. I'm tempted to take those gloves off, but they've got 7% attack speed, and I want to see this absolutely massive attack speed buff. That I definitely want to shatter. Please give me damage with a mace. Yes. That is something I need shards for, because if we end up using a mace later on, that's amazing. Could get some significant physical stuff from that. We did. Crit strike chance, don't care about that. I'm going to keep those gloves, because I could see those being quite useful in my current build.
Yes.
I'm then going to sell that. That leaves us with 10 grand. And she's not got any runes of shattering because we bought them all. So let's pop that back up there. Right, let's do a little test. Before we do, let's pop another one of those in there. Let's see if this lovely curved sword is as good as I hope it's going to be. And then we're going to go and hunt ourselves some gold. What are we doing? Find Admiral Harton. We definitely... Oh wow, it hits hard and fast, and that does give me significant spot healing. Drags them in quicker, slaps, it's pretty good. As we saw from the numbers, it was nothing like the increase I thought it was going to be, because I neglected the physical damage and physical percent damage on the weapon we were replacing. But it doesn't half cut stuff down, and when I'm cutting stuff, I'm healing things. Right, offhand catalyst, I have one of those on Legacy, but I haven't got one yet on Cycle, so that's nice. Pull him back up before we lose him. That final node is the one that's really helping us actually. It's the one that keeps our minions alive way more effectively than anything else. Jesus. Alright, this has potential. We should now be in a better position in this monolith. We're not in a great position in this monolith because we're still hugely lacking in res. We need much better resists. Oh, look at that! That's a bonus attack speed shrine. So we're now going to start to see. We should be able to shred Admiral Harton here. Watch this. We should be able to pretty much heal through anything he hits us with, whilst annihilating him. Yeah, that attack speed is amazing, so much so that we're going to take on the Exiled Mage as well. The heal that we get from Rive means that Rive with massive attack speed is just infinite life regen. It's like having Amazing Leech, which I don't have. That's just fun. I would like to get 55. Let's hunt a few extra enemies in here if there are any very close ones. No, there's not. Stuff it, we'll just do a different one. Pick up some gold. Oh no, this was runes. Gold's on the next one. Oh, we're dropping all the weapons and shields now. So we've got... Oh wow, I've never seen this before. It's an experimental exalted. So it's got a tier 6 high rolled increased minion health 220%. And then the experimental affix is 14 mana gained on potion use, 16% increased mana regen when you use a potion. And we get poison res and crit strike avoidance. That's actually really good for our build, but not as good as the one we've got on. This is same base damage, slower attack speed, but with chance to bleed on hit and increased bleed duration. Physical damage, damage over time, that's just not going to be as good. That's definitely not going to be as good. Although it's got leeching on it, which is nice. This is 38% physical rather than 46 melee physical damage reflected. Better poison resist again. We're lacking the 18% increased armour though. The increased armour is pretty potent. And we lose 9%, 8% block chance and 75 effectiveness, so no. Crit strike chance ring I don't want. This, yeah, 12% melee attack speed is nice. 12% melee attack speed on this build at the moment is really nice. Minion health is always nice. Fire damage I don't care about. Dodge rating I don't care about. The health is nice. I'm not keeping this one, but we're keeping an eye out for these. Hey, the Rotmind has got legendary potential. So let's have a very quick look at this. We're not going to use it on this character. Right, max roll intelligence, 2 out of 3% spell crit strike, high roll poison damage over time. Everything else is pretty good in the range. That is a good Rotmind. That really is. Right, happy about that. Sometime we'll find an alt who wants to run one of those. That experimental, I might put it in the exalted experimental category because it's just great. Those are all going. That's going. We'll keep hold of that because it's a decent base affix.
Yes.
Not particularly bothered about any of these, am I? What have we got? We've only got 15 left. Mind you,
Yes.
if we talk to her, what's she got? No, on a course, because we've done that.
Yes.
Oops. Hit her in the face with a sword instead. Yeah, some of those actually were rather nice, but we'll shatter
Okay.
stuff later on. Right, oh, we've got 2 more points in here. So, bang bang, those 2 are maxed now. So we're now getting 40 healing per shield every 6 seconds. So 200 health every 6 seconds. And every time we get healed, we're getting 50% armour. So our armour is 2165. If we throw the shields up, when they heal us, it goes from 2165, reducing 48% of the damage, to 2561, reducing 53. So we gain 5% more physical damage reduction from the armour. That will stack with 60% when we get hit, and in the end, either 50 or 75% when we use Forge Strike as well, which is a happy thing. These are all looking pretty good. This is now catching up at 15. It needs to get to 16. Let's run the gold one, which might just get us to 55 as well, which will really help with survivability on the minions, because it will give us another 50% to their health and armour. See, it isn't smacking the way that mace did, but it's smacking so much quicker than that mace did, that again we're just going to go for experimental dudes and do some damage. See, to be comfortably in a tier 58 now and not worrying about taking on the exiled mages, which aren't normally a massive challenge to kill, but if I'm speed running the echoes, I quite often find that until my build is moving and working, they just take too long to kill. I mean, the heal power on this is insane. Oh, we've got ourselves something very good there. What's that? It's got melee damage when wielding a mace again. And that was Myrmidon plate as well, wasn't it? So that is 280 armour, 5 strength, 4% health instead of 7. Okay, well we're not wielding a mace at the moment, so we're not worried about that, but that could be useful. Ward gained when using a traversal skill is also nice, but that's got int on it, which we don't care about. Right, what's that? Not really worth going all the way back for 64 gold, but we did. It looked like more gold on the floor to me at the time. Right, we've located the place, so we really don't need to be fighting these boys. I do seem to be struggling to trigger my Forge Strike. When I hit the button, it works maybe half the time, even when it is off cooldown. which is slightly confusing me. Right, we need to find Praetor Tyrannus. And in case he's a really nasty poison dude, which I can't remember whether he is or not, I'm not going to pull the whole map to him. Or am I? There we go, there's 55. Let's get the shields up healing us. And then let's very quickly drop a point in there. Right, one more level gets us the plus 1%. It's either physical or melee damage every time you get hit, which I really liked last time. I don't know what difference it made, but it felt good. Yeah, increased melee damage 1% per hit taken in the last, is it past 10 seconds. So basically while we're in fights, our damage is just going to scale and scale and scale, which is amazing. So we definitely want that. Okay, we've lost Forge Guard. I know, he's just lagging behind. Couldn't see him for a second there. Right, let's go get this dude. Okay, he looks like he's void damage. Oh yeah, he's big void damage. Woohoo! Let's get the heals going. Fucking hit this guy. God damn it. I'm not sure if it's just slight server lag, but a lot of my button inputs just don't seem to be working, which is not a problem I had in 0.92. Right, so we've hit 55. When we hit 56, we can put a point in there. This gets us a big heap of gold. And we've got a chunk of items again. Right. Time rot, chance to shred on hit, not bothered. I was just about to say, if we pull one of these urchin stars that's got attack speed on it, it might overtake this weapon again, even though it will still be significantly slower. And here we are with an urchin star with attack speed. I don't think that's going to be enough though, because of the plus 19 physical damage. 22, 24. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good. I'm starting to get a feel for what's good and what's not. I'm never sure about these kite shields. You get a half decent block chance, you get a very good block effectiveness, but nothing else. Whereas these come with the endurance threshold. Right, 10%, here we go, here we go. 10% melee damage. No. I like what we've got. Do like what we've got. 15% armour. This was the one, wasn't it? Yeah. It's got very good potential, but it's not for us. That's not for us. 20% fizz dash. Not good enough. 13 melee void, increased physical. 36 melee. And then that's the traversal skill boots. Thought I'd turned these off. Oh well. I was sure I'd filtered out those boots. And they've not got an affix on them that I have been insistent upon. Right, what did we say we were keeping? For now, keep that as a base, keep that definitely. In fact, we're not even going to keep that, we're going to smash that. Or are we? No, we're going to keep that just in case we find a mace that is worth having. That wants to go in idols. Not Not bothered by that, not bothered by those, or those. So, any of those worth shattering? Yeah, vitality and armour on there we'll take. It's got a low physical damage, melee damage, health on hit, health on kill. Melee attack speed, if we can take it, we always will, but we didn't get it. Strength and Vit we'll definitely try and take some shards for, and I think we're done. No, all the things on there are relatively useful. We can always buy more runes of shattering if we need them. You know, we're back up to 20k now. That means we can buy 10 of them.
Take care.
Okay. Right, what are we at? We're at about 20 to 8. I want to do one more run, because I'm just starting to feel this, and I want to hit 56 because I want that. Let's get the XP one as well. I want that bonus to melee damage node. And once we've done that, then we'll start to look at maybe going back to do a bit of campaign. We're definitely not going to get to Circle of Fortune tonight, even if everything worked perfectly from now on, because I'm probably only going to stream for another hour. But we're already leveled enough to take on Lagon. I think with our current build, we should be able to do Lagon with maybe 1 or 2 deaths just to misadventure while I warm back up to fighting Lagon again, but I don't think he's going to be an all-night challenge. He's not going to be like that damn zombie dragon was. We should just take him. Ooh, that's rapid movement speed. Heal, 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 heal. Yeah, alright. Off you bugger. Let's get them all in, drive them all to death. Here he is. Oh, it's a gate. Okay, well that's even better. We can just drive everything down if it's a gate. You just can't keep up with the attack speed of this ridiculous build. It's just obscene. And the attack speed almost out-tanks the incoming damage from a lot of these, although actually scorpions are pretty bad, so let's just stay away from them. Although the difference that's made to the pets, look at that. The manifest armour is still alive despite taking scorpions to the face like that, which is pretty brutal. Was this an XP one? Yes it was. Not enough to ding us, but still pretty good. Right, well in that case we're going to have to do one more, aren't we? Because I want... let's take runes followed by gold. And then we can settle in a little bit, I think, and try and do some chill campaign. Now at level 55, with the gear we've got, campaign should be ridiculously easy up until Lagon himself. The other thing is we've not done any respecs on our skills whatsoever, because unlike when we were leveling to get here, when we didn't even know what skill we were going to be using, we've just put the skills we wanted in and gone up the trees. We've not respecced them once. So they've got the maximum amount of XP they could possibly have had, and they all landed pretty much when I needed them as well. I didn't have to wait a level or two for any of them. So this build levels itself quite nicely. Once you've got to about 20, things start to sort of slot in on a relatively rapid basis. I am really tempted to mess around with the shields though, because I just don't think we need that wall of shields when we rush. we just hit the dude in the middle and then explode. We're doing our damage elsewhere. We could make the shields even more potent instead. What are we doing? Locating Headhunter Lavian. Oh no, not that way. In fact, I think we might have already got to the point where I don't know where the rest of my points and shields are going if we're not going to take... Because we're not having mana problems, are we? So I don't see the point in making shields cheaper at the expense of their health if we're not struggling to keep them alive. Those spiders are the most spidery spiders that ever did spider. Like some computer game spiders. Oh god, we've crashed. I can't move. Ah. Oh. That was very nearly bad for a minute. Right, survive the ambush. Here we go. Let's see how quickly we can kill this once the swords and stuff get up. We're on 12 swords. I think we're going to spec shields into damage, you know. I might make shields do fire damage or something, because this is obscene. And all 5 of our shields were still up then. So I don't think this one, shields heal you on death, is useful. Because I don't think, with all the nodes I've taken, that my shields are dying. I think they're just being desummoned. We've had this conversation before on the stream. I don't think they count as dying when the time expires and they get unsummoned. I think it's only if enemies kill them. And I don't think that's happening. I think I've given them enough health and survivability that they're just surviving. So... Sorry, I just saw that. He's got 34 health and 7% increased health. That's nice. It's not quite hybrid health, but it's close. I think hybrid health is like both of those on one. Or maybe that is hybrid health, it's just both affixes, but either way, that's quite nice. And it's a tier 2 and a tier 2. So, we've maxed this. We've got our extra shields maxed. We've got 40% more shield durability and 20% fizz res, and they last 4 seconds longer. So there's a 15-second cooldown on Ring of Shields, and it lasts up to 10 seconds. We've made it last up to 14 seconds. And like when we just had that fight, we just finished fighting the boss at the end of the Echo, and he'd been punching us and wailing on us and doing what he did, and not one of those 5 shields was dead when the timer expired, and they all winked out simultaneously. So I don't think shields are dying significantly. We could have consuming a potion heals your shields. No. Shields reflect a percentage of damage. We could have shields reflect damage, 10% of damage taken to attackers. That's quite nice. Or we could put another one in here, giving them more health, more fizz res. And then shields take less fire damage and have a chance to ignite enemies that hit them. And we are maybe leaning into an ignite build. We could start pushing ignite. Then we can put that node in, which is shields deal fire damage over time to surrounding enemies. So we'll have, what, 4 points plus the one we've got 5. So I can put one in there, and then we would get another 4 points, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Which would give us... so we wouldn't have the collateral damage node, so that's irrelevant. But we would have a 50% chance to ignite enemies that hit our shields. We would then have a fire aura that dealt damage to enemies. Doesn't tell us how much damage. And then this would increase their damage by 30% and their rotation speed by 30%. So they would be moving quicker, triggering the fire aura presumably more often. So I think we're going to go that way. We're going to make them healthier, so they just don't die, they just live. And then we're going to make them do fire damage as well. Because I did once say that if our shields were doing damage, we would be winning last Epoch. And we could try and prove that to be true now. We've finished here now, we've capped in here, which means I can finally get my last node in critical multiplier. That's what we're going to go for when we hit 57. And then I think, before we do anything else, we're going to max this out, which is the damage that our forged weapons and our manifest armour do. And I'm most interested in the forged weapon damage, because most of the time, even when we're fighting bosses, we should have 12 forged weapons. And if we're adding +4 melee physical another 7 times, so another 28 melee physical to all 12 of those weapons, and I've buffed their attack speed, that's where a lot of my damage is going to come from. And I can afford to just try and stay alive while the swords kill stuff. So that's what we're going to do next. Then we'll finish off this node for the armour, or this node for the attunement and the minion armour, my armour, then this one for armour. Although we may actually spec a bit earlier into Paladin as well for attunement and elemental resist, because our elemental resists, like cold, is terrible now. So we could get a total of 24% elemental resist from that tree. We could also start taking points in this one. If we took 2 more here for another 100 armour, we'd then be able to get another 24% here, potentially, elemental resist. So that's worth thinking about as well. I'm going to play around with that build. What are we on? We're on 10 to 8. Let's do 1 echo. I want to do something where I can just dive in. We were going to do this anyway. We were going to do this one because it's got gold on it. So we're going to do this echo for some gold. And then we're going to try and do just a tiny bit of campaign. Right. Oh, wow. All we did was touch one shrine and it showed us where Spymaster Zerek is. So let's go kill him. Let's summon the shields. Let's hope we can get some points in the shields quite quickly, because I want them to start doing fire damage over time. Oh god, yeah, we got these flying dudes that I wasn't paying attention to, and look at all the stuff they've summoned. Although all it's doing is giving us more ways of summoning swords. Look at that, we are totally capped on swords. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty reliable way to get XP. Where are you, Zerek? There he is. Right, now we have to remember Zerek, poison. That is his MO. We can take his physical damage, we can tank it, we can pretty much face tank it and ignore it between the shields and the speed of attack. We cannot stand in his poison. So when he poisons, we will dodge out. Well, that's going to get us a bit more cash, which is nice. We didn't get anything like a level because the levelling slows down, because we're now about level appropriate. But we're starting to feel more confident. I mean, I've gone, this morning when I logged in, I was level 26, so I've made 30 levels. I've gone from 26 to 56 today, and we are nowhere near finishing the campaign, but we're certainly at a level where we could smack Lagon around quite happily. What's this? Chance to bleed on hit, melee void damage. Like the first bit, not the second bit. Don't care about that. Right, block chance and health gain on block. Increased fire damage. Crit strike chance, none of those. Yeah, this is the one that's got all the extra health. If we put this on, we go from 821 health to 863. But we lose a fat chunk of damage because we're losing all that strength. And that strength will contribute to armour. Increase shield throw, crit strike chance, attunement, dodge and armour. Yeah, okay, right. So, not particularly fussed. We're still missing an idle slot up here. I've just been tooling around without one. Like, there must be something in here that would be worth putting on. What's our lowest resistance now? Is it cold? Cold's at 19. Necrotic is at 12. My god, necrotic is at 12. I'm amazed we haven't been dying more. We've been doing loads of necrotic content. Let's see if we've got any necrotic stuff. Necrotic damage, but not necrotic resist. So you can type in this search bar here and it will do a text search. I've just put NEC for necrotic, and these with necrotic resist, that one's got void damage for some reason. That's got necrotic damage. Yeah, it just searches through them and finds them for you. It's super useful. So after necrotic, I haven't got any 3 tall ones, have I, that are worth having? I've only got that one, which is Vengeance and Smite and Chance to Shred Armour. Chance to Shred Armour's okay. I also need to look at these, because I mean, what are these? These are 26 health and 5% health. I've just been throwing these in here without looking. %3 health, increased fire damage. 10% cold taken as physical, which actually really helps me, and a 12% chance to ignite while at high health. That's pretty cool. But I need both of those for my resists. Mind you, stun duration's not likely to help us a massive amount. Have we not got a better health one? What's that? It's Fizz Rares, which I really don't think we need because... Oh, I liked that one, didn't I? So we could put that one in, put that one in. Then what? We'd lose a load of void resistance is the problem. So we don't do that, we do this. So that rounds out our resists a little bit. Not terribly well, but doesn't make them any worse anyway, which sometimes is all one can ask for. Okay, let's see just how tricky this is. So we are in the Divine Era and we want to go back to Heoboria. We're going to see if we can load in. I suspect the servers by now, this shows that if you go into the monolith and you get in and you want to sit and run monolith all night, it works fine. Nothing here stopping me leveling, getting gear, doing what I want to do. But I do need to get to a point in the campaign at some point where I can get the Circle of Fortune set up so I can be earning rep for them and doing my prophecies and stuff. And once we've done that, we can be quite comfortable and happy in what we're doing. Well, we still don't have anybody watching, unsurprisingly, because this is not the most exciting Last Epoch content out there at the moment this week. But I think that means it is not going to be worth raiding anybody in half an hour. We might still be entering Heoboria in half an hour. Who knows? We will find out. But yeah, I think we might just be having a quiet little fade away to the stream. If we can get in, then I think by the time we've... Mind you, we're not going to get much XP because all the areas are going to be way too low. Because if we look... Burning Pier is level 50. So we're already 6 levels too high for the Burning Pier. Okay. We tempt the game gives back. It's at least giving us a loading screen. I did sit and look at this loading screen for a very long time earlier today. But, touch wood, only one disconnect, no LE61. The servers are definitely in a better state than they were, and if we have a look at it, I suspect that the Steam numbers aren't bad now, because the servers are certainly good enough to be playing. So while that's loading, let me have a look. Yeah, so the last Epoch peak of 193,820 hasn't been broken, but we've still got right now 171,500 people playing last Epoch, which is more than we had immediately on Wednesday at launch, and the servers are hanging in way better. So things are improving, and soon we will have this working as intended, and it will be a long and distant memory, and we can get back to just enjoying this absolutely epic game. And every now and again I remind myself, you know, I've built this Forge Guard build, I'm very excited. It's the first homebrew build I've ever really done in an action RPG. I enjoyed it in 0.92, but I didn't know how it was going to be in 1.0. So far, looks pretty good. Still fun to play, still seems to be doing the job, and we've got some tweaks to make to it that I'm happy about. I'm keen to try it on a high attack speed build, maybe scale for that. We haven't taken it to level 100, we haven't taken it into empowered monoliths, we haven't taken it into high corruption, we've still only done one of the dungeons, we haven't done the high level arena stuff. So there's loads of places we can go with this build, and I'm really excited for it, and I get quite fixated on it. And then I sort of stop and go, oh yeah, there's 4 other masteries, or 4 other classes, each of which have 3 masteries. That's like 14 different options I've not tried yet. I could do this exact dude again, but level him as a paladin and try the new healing hands tree, which I'm told is great fun, or some of the ridiculous stuff that Aaron Action RPG is doing with his warlock builds. Although, you know, if I had spicy crafts like that and I could pull 93% cast speed onto a legendary potential, brand new, very rarely seen unique, maybe I could make cool builds. But he did turn it into something astonishing. It's so much fun to play, I would imagine, because it is so much fun to watch. You know, he's not even aiming. I love the idea of that build. You're just clicking somewhere on the screen and it's auto doing stuff for you, which even with this lovely shiny enhanced cursor, I still lose where it is on the screen and charge in the wrong direction and throw my forge strikes down in the wrong place. So I reckon we're going to get there. The challenge will be, if we get into Heoboria, run south and click on the entrance, and then it does this again, and then we have to run across a very short map to click on Deep Harbour, and then it'll do this again. Then we have to run through Deep Harbour, chat to Grail, and then go to the little corner and fight the Rahe dudes, which is another loading screen again. Then come back to Deep Harbour to report to the fisherman guy, which is another loading screen again. And it does all add up in terms of time. And that's why I have not pushed too far through the campaign. But I'm pretty happy. I played Thursday morning and I got up to level 26. And then I played this morning, I played today a little bit on and off, and we've gone from 26 to 56. And like I said, I think the leveling gets faster the more you level up in Last Epoch, because you get into more densely packed areas, and if you push through the campaign a bit, and you know where you're going and what you're doing, the levels of the zones scale relatively well with you. So you just rip through more and more mobs in a particular go and get better at it as well. You become more efficient at AoE farming, and the XP just rolls in. Oh, come on here, Borea. We've been spoiled by monoliths. showing us that we can sit and play the game we like whenever we want. But the campaign is struggling a bit. And it's probably because anybody playing Cycle has got to do this at least once to get their factions unlocked. And the factions are the really big shiny new thing in the game. It's what I want to push towards. I want to push through Lagon so we can go to factions, we can see how the Circle of Fortune plays. And then I'm going to level the Circle of Fortune up all the way to level 10. After which, and it'll take us a while to do that, after we've done that, we could create another Cycle character which will then give us a chance to go Merchant's Guild, and we could level Merchant's Guild to 10. The question will be whether we've got time to do both of those things within the current cycle. I think we're looking at about 3 or 4 months probably, so we probably do. I am interested to know what happens to your Circle of Fortune and Merchant's Guild reputation when the cycle ends, because it doesn't affect my legacy characters, so my legacy characters would have to level that up all over again. So the question for me would be, at the end of the cycle, do your cycle characters go into your legacy account? The answer is almost undoubtedly yes, because that's how most modern action RPGs work. You know, you finish your Season 1 Diablo character or your current Path of Exile League character and they go into the legacy server, whatever that is, whatever name it's given. And normally they would go in there with any cash they'd made, any items they were carrying, and a number of other things. I do wonder how that works in Last Epoch, especially given how many stash tabs there are. Oh, I heard loading noise. Hey! So for example, I have about, I don't know, 10 stash tabs on my legacy account, my legacy server. If I go wild and really like this cycle and I buy all the 200 available stash tabs, when I go back to legacy, does it bring over the 200 stash tabs? I'll find answers to these, but I don't know. It's just things that have been going around in my head during loading screens. And I do wonder whether you, if you've not started rep gain with any of those factions in Legacy, when the cycle characters transfer over, do you keep what you gained in cycle? Does it overwrite Legacy? Or it doesn't really bother me, because I think I'm only ever going to play cycle. I don't mind starting with a new economy, and I mean, it might be nice to experiment a bit and do a bit of crafting with legacy servers where you've got a whole range of crafting affixes and stuff. But I quite like a fresh economy, generally speaking, and I'm assuming that in the future, when it's not launch, and I don't know why I'm chasing that down, we should just be burning through here. I assume that the cycles in the future are likely to have either a mechanic attached to them, or a cosmetic that comes for doing them, or something else to encourage you to play cycle instead of just playing your same old legacy characters. Obviously there isn't in this case because it's 1.0, and a lot of the people coming into the game won't have played it before anyway, so they might as well start cycle, and it gives those of us that wanted to an opportunity to start in a fresh economy, and I'm quite pleased to have been able to do so. You know, my legacy characters are still there, I've not lost anything. But it's been so long since I started Last Epoch, I've sort of forgotten how quickly you build up items, and I'd forgotten silly things like, yes, you need to unlock your idol slots, but I'm so used to just having all the idols I might need there and ready to go, just to fill up any gaps in my resists, or expand my damage type, or support whatever it is I'm doing. And to not have those actually is a bit of a challenge. And it's quite nice. It means that when you grab an idol shrine and it coughs out a whole load of little blue idols, you don't sort of roll your eyes about having to click each individual one and pick them up. You get really excited because you get to pick up some idols. I don't know why I'm grinding these. I am making some XP actually, but only the barest minimum. So I think we'll just go to Deep Harbour. Oh wow, that loaded in much quicker. Nobody's in Deep Harbour. Now, how quickly it actually loads us in to the zone, we shall see. But once we're there, we can talk to them, get the quest, go to the next place, and that's only one transition. Once we're in, that's one last transition. Then we fight a whole load of Rahe dudes. Then we're done until Lagon. Well, we're into the Lagon chapter of the campaign. So what I will try and do tonight, or on 10 past 8, I would like to get into Deep Harbour, to accept all the quests, to go and fight the Rahe dudes, to go across to the whatever it is isle, and maybe find the first waypoint, maybe get a little bit further if we can load in, and then we are in a position that if the servers are quiet tomorrow morning, you know, first thing Saturday morning, I might be able to dive in and get Lagon done, maybe get up to Majelka, and then maybe what I'll do is film my initial reactions with the Circle of Fortune and pop them on YouTube instead, because I'm not going to go live at whatever o'clock in the morning, because if I start bumbling around yelling into my microphone, I'm going to wake the missus up. But what I will do is potentially record it so we at least get a bit of a live reaction as to what it is. Then I can put it up on YouTube and then disappoint thousands of people who search for how does Circle of Fortune work last Epoch, and instead of an actual guide they get some bearded moron going, "Oh my god, it's so cool, ooh, a telescope." So, you know, look forward to that. I may have wished for a bit much though. What did I say? Get into Deep Harbour, get quests, get into the next zone, kill stuff, get back into Deep Harbour, hand in quest, transition to next zone, find waypoint. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 transitions, and we're currently sitting in the first one of them. We'll see. I'm not rushing off, we've got 20 minutes. That's one transition every 5 minutes, plus a bit of bashing time. That sounded successful, there we go. See, it's not that bad. It feels bad when you're sitting and waiting, but it isn't really. I wonder if we're going to get any cutscenes during any of this. I wouldn't have thought so, for the stuff that we're likely to do.
It is too. Are you in? You did then?
Yeah,
Then
I'll do
hold
that.
up in the pier. If you think you
Oh, I'm going straight to the pier, at which point I'm going to queue to get in there for a while. The other reason I don't want this armour on, and I do think it looks pretty damn cool actually, but at the moment, anyone who bought the Ultimate Edition is going to be walking around with one of 2 armours on, one of which is that. That armour I think will look much cooler in 6 months when there's lots of other cosmetics floating about the game and people have forgotten what that one was. At the moment, you're either in your normal clothes, that one, the Ronin one, or in some rare cases some of the other supporter pack ones. God, I feel like I'm losing my voice already, which is ridiculous. Although we have been talking over loading screens quite a bit, I haven't been talking any more than I normally would. And unlike Wednesday, I wasn't doing training all morning, so it's not like I've been talking all day either. What are we on? I keep checking my other screen, that's why I'm disappearing this way. I'm checking the other screen because for some reason in my head I'm like, maybe the other screen it's loaded already, because, you know, Twitch isn't on a delay and it isn't just live capturing what's going on this screen. I just live in hope that one version of me has got into an area. Although I heard some promising noises then. Come on, you can do it. I think 57 is unlikely in this zone, and I don't think we're going to get much fighting done in the next zone. And 57 we're going to start scaling the damage for, I think we said. I think we'd finished... No, we've got one more node on the crit strike multiplier, haven't we? To really get the most out of Rive. And once we've scaled Rive's upper damage node and its crit strike multiplier, we can then get the extra 5% in Leech, which Leech is 10% of, or will then leech 10% of Rive's final hit. Rive's final hit, now it's a guaranteed crit and has a 260 odd % multiplier or something. Here we are, we're in. Will do us rather nicely. So, God, we got 25 shields for a second there. Still says we got 25. Hello, boys. Oh, come on, start attacking. There we go, that's better. Right. Foray! Right, the one I always forget to do is up here. So we'll do this one first. You can tell I've done this a few times now. I've got a rough idea of what I'm doing, if not a really good one. Although I'm still not doing it efficiently, I should just be dragging all these guys to the end and then moidering them, especially as we're not doing echoes now. We haven't got stacking debuffs, they're way under-leveled compared to us, we should just be murdering everything. Yeah, that'll do. See? Easy. Easy. I didn't think we could get through here, but I did just wonder if there was a little cut through to the place down south rather than backtracking the way we came. But we'll backtrack, I'm happy with that. I'm not even fighting you guys, you are not worth my time. I'm going to fight you because Birdman. Oh fine, I'll kill you all. I don't see why I'd be rushing through this, because all I'm doing is rushing to a loading screen. I might as well be enjoying smashing some stuff with my lovely new skills. Although we really are not going to level here. We might be almost at Lagon before we get a level in the campaign, except that we are going to get XP from quest hand-ins and stuff. On the plus side, the runny skill really makes us quite potent. Oh, except for when it stutters like that. You press the button, nothing happens, you think you've missed it. Might be a timing issue. Here we go. Everyone attack that. There we go, so we finished everything we need to do in here. So we slay some fools, and then we take the riskiest move of the night and jump into a tree portal. And see how long it takes us to get back to Deep Harbour. Then we can just speak to the ferryman, and then transition again into another thrilling transition window. See, that wasn't bad. I think these are getting better, if anything.
Can I help you?
Which is pretty good, really.
Don't lose your way.
Let's go to Lake Liath. I mean, I do think EXG have got on top of these servers, given the issues they've had and the fact that they completely fell over with some unforeseen errors early doors, and that they fell over on Wednesday to the point where the game couldn't be played, and we were still struggling with it yesterday. They've pretty much got it back up and running for the weekend. We've got slower load times, but I've only had one disconnect all night, and we've got in everywhere we've tried to get in. We've just had to wait a little bit sometimes, you know, which none of us are patient people when we've got slapping monsters to do. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, I've still had a ton of fun tonight. I've still made 4 or 5 levels since we logged on. No, what were we? We were 49 when we logged on, weren't we, I think? Yes, we were. So we've done much better than that, actually. So life is good. We've achieved, we've monolithed. Let's go and get the... I think they've changed the layout of this zone, or maybe they've changed where you come into it from. I always go out of my way to get the shrines at the moment. I mean, if you get an attack speed shrine like this, it's just hilarious on this build. But I tend to do that anyway, because if it's a gold, an idol or a shard shrine, then it's well worth grabbing, because I have very little in the way of economy at the moment. So I always grab shrines if they're quick and easy to get to. You know, it might only be a few thousand gold, or you know, it could be 10 shards, but if you do that 100 times while you're running around rather than not, it adds up quite quickly. Yeah, boy. So what did we say? We wanted to get to here and activate the first waypoint. Well, we've done that. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to head west through Liath. We're going to try and find the next waypoint. We're going to get as far through zones as we can. I don't know quite why we're fighting these guys, because this isn't actually the way we need to go. But I get caught up smacking stuff. Pretty sure the way we need to go is this way. Oh look, he's got a name. Oh no, he doesn't, he's just a big guy. Well, now he's a less big guy. Shards. You want something for Rye? Give him this. Oh, crud. I need to go back and pick up whatever that was. I didn't see whether it was a rare affix shard or a weapon. Either way, I want it. Oh, it's a kite shield. Nice. Pick it up then. Although it's a blue shield. But you never know what they roll, and if you get lucky enough to get semi-decent fortune potential, it can be totally worth it. Oh, this game is good to play. It really is. It has that real just 5 more minutes sort of feel to it. It's amazing. I say it a lot, but I can just log in, zone out, play all day, even when there's slightly longer load times and all the rest of it. And that won't be hanging around for long. But the actual game, once you're in. 2 things I think that have made me happy from what we looked at in the offline mode on Wednesday night. Oh, Lightless Arbor Key, very nice, that's my first one on cycle. One of the things that made me happy is the fact that this runs, you know, the load times and stuff aren't bad, but it runs with new shiny graphics and all on this machine pretty much flawlessly. I'm not getting much slowdown or stutter or some of the things I was worried I might be getting when we first started playing offline on Wednesday. So it looks prettier, it runs the same, it's still just as much fun, and then we get to go to Liath Tower, talk to Liath, go back to her tower, which is a really nice easy quest, and then whoa, I want those boots. So let's do that. What are we on? Yeah, 123 past. Let's do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Liath. She's going to tell us to go to her tower and grab some stuff. That's the easiest quest in the game because you just skip all the mobs, run all the way up the tower, and then fight a big beast at the top. And then that's done. And that will be ready to hand in when we get there next time. Have we got her? No. There's always 1 or 2 more of these things, just keep spawning in. It's overkill, I think, this ambush. Go on, swords, finish them off. Yep, every time I come back here, and we're not done. Like, where's our forged armour gone? Over here. Because there's one more. Right. Right, Leath tells us to get lost. We say, yeah, but I want to speak to him. She's like, no, make yourself useful, go and get my stuff. So we go back and get her stuff, and then we're capable of going somewhere else. Maybe we try and push for the next zone. Let's see how long it takes. I mean, I could happily hang around and play this all day, but I've got other stuff to do this evening, and as much as I enjoy streaming to nobody, nobody's getting bored, so we're going to do something a little bit different. One more level, I think. Here we go. Where's the boy? Ching, 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 ching. He hits really hard with this skill, but I want to see what we're on now. Let's get the shields healing us. When they heal us, we are on over 3,000 armour already, which is pretty good. And because of the speed at which we heal, we're just standing in goo. Grab her notes, retrieve the books, very nice, and then we don't do that because we're in a different zone. We go Leath's Road, I think? Could be wrong. And then I think that takes me to like Old Thetima or something, doesn't it? Or did I do that wrong? Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's the tower we've just come out of, so rather than running down the stairs 1,000 times. So let's go to the village and hand that one in. Fight the bears. There's a bear and a chest up here, I think. I really have done this quite a few times. Not spending time fighting all these dudes. It's great fun just to watch them disappear, but at the same time, we're not really making any XP for it. Ah, it's a shame when the shield rush fails to kick, because that is my map traversal skill. Because when it does work, we get to move loads of places really quickly. There we go, into Thetima. And then from Thetima we find the guy to take us to Lagon's Isle. Depending on load times, maybe we'll quickly do that. We're not quite on half past. Whoa, dark! Haha! Man, my chat has literally just updated. You're not nobody. You're really not. In fact, you're the first somebody to join the channel all day. For my second stream in a row, I have been streaming to nobody for a grand total of almost 5 hours now between two streams. How you doing, buddy?
I'm glad you are safe. Were you able to meet Leath?
Oh, give me the dates, give me the dates.
I see. Did she? That would not be wise. Leath's been known to be tense. But I see her as a friend.
19th is pretty good. I'll make sure I'll see if we're back from holiday then, but if we are, I'll be there. That sounds ace. Think we go end of September, so 19th should work. Right, I've got the books. Give me some expuzzle. Not talking to you because I know which guy is going to take me.
Do that. These waters are
Oh look, it's
dangerous.
Captain Harton
The
from a
God's been
previous
stirring
timeline.
storms
I
more
wonder if he
than
later becomes an admiral.
But my ship can handle it. I've made my
Oh, new cutscene.
The traveler set sail, eager to make it to the Isle of Storms.
The ship is secure. Should reach the pier in no time.
Lagon's temple, a beacon of light.
Careful. Lagon's not used to visitors.
the Isle of Storms, complete with its capricious guard.
Oh, well, look at that. Oh, great. It'd be good to meet the missus, mate. That's amazing. There are just those little extra cutscenes sprinkled throughout that are making a big difference. And some of these transitions, you talk to him and he says, "Are you ready to go?" in the old early access version, and you say yes. And then it just opens this area here and you have to click on it to go there. Whereas now you get cutscene followed by transition. It feels much more seamless and integrated. I like it. There's just a little overarching drag you into the narrative, which is great. And this might just be the last loading screen we get of the night. It's the only thing the servers are still struggling with that I've experienced is these loading screens. Because we're still around 176,000 people on or something, which is pretty massive. So I'm going to get to Lagon's Isle and open up the portal there, and then we're going to call the stream at that, because we've done 2.5 hours. It's nice that you popped in at the end there though, Dark. It's raised my average viewers from 0 to 0 point something. It's a funny time to be streaming last Epoch, I think, because it's one of those things. It's a big and popular game at the moment, everywhere, including on Twitch. But unless you're a big and popular streamer, then you're going to have fewer viewers trying to watch this, I think, because they've got more choice in who they watch. And most of those people are well known, doing more sort of high pressure content and doing it more successfully. So it's a funny one, but I don't care. I'm only streaming because I'm playing this anyway. Ah, there we go. There's our first lost connection. So that's the second lost connection of the night. First one happened almost immediately at the first transition, and then we got that one. So on that bombshell, we're going to call the stream. Dark, thank you for popping by. Everybody else, if you catch the VOD, great. If you don't, you'll never know nobody was here. That shield looks badass, by the way, and that sword is awesome. I'm coming, Pen. Right, I'm going to go and let the dog out. I will see you guys on the next one. Won't be a stream on Monday, but I'll try and squeeze one in before Friday next week. I will see you very soon. Goose out.